Hello and welcome back to English 12A, Unit 5. My name is Gabby. You should already know this. English teacher at Options for Youth Marina Valley. Hopefully you've watched my other videos and you're familiar with all of this. So if your teacher is amazing and prints you out these, you have this sheet here. If not, it's not necessary, you don't need it. It just has a few things for you to take notes on while you're going through your packet, and it would help you with the test if we were taking a test, but we're not. It could still help you though on the review at the end. It asks for examples of the following, so adjective and adverb phrases. Remember, phrases are just like a clump of words that do those things. So my friend Sarrazin, my friend who goes to USC, bought a car, right? Adjective phrase describes Sarrazin. My friend who goes to USC is describing Sarrazin. Adverb phrase, so after going to the grocery store, I put away the groceries. After going to the grocery store describes when I put away the groceries, so that's an adverb phrase. Punctuation, so commas, colons, semicolons, all that fun stuff. Prepositional phrases and clauses, so preposition tells where it is in relation to something else. So under the desk, that is a prepositional phrase. Or that's a clause. Let's see. I went under the desk would be a phrase. Comparatives and superlatives, so that's comparing two things. I am taller than my brother. Superlatives is the utmost, right? So I am the tallest. It's comparing to everyone. Misplaced or dangling modifiers, if I said my friend Sarrazin bought a car who went to USC, that's not a modifier, that's where it should be. Greek and Latin roots, so mal equaling bad, so think about it in Spanish, what does mal mean? Chron equaling time, dict equaling said, so chron is like chronological, right? Or chronicles. Dict as in like diction or dictionary or things like that. Sound devices, consonants is the repetition of final consonant sounds, so I spelt, I spilt, I tilt, right? That t sound at the end. Alliteration is the repetition of beginning consonant sounds. Remember, consonants aren't vowels. So A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y, they're anything other than those. So bouncing boy bought bacon is an alliteration. The beginning, or the concepts that you should know are parodies, so the different types of parody. Parodies are making fun of something, Petrarchan sonnet or Italian sonnets, Anglo-Saxon tales, so like tales of Canterbury, things like that. Legendary or epic heroes, so Beowulf. Allegories are stories that are kind of meant to teach a lesson. Inferences are guesses, educated guesses that you can make based off of the information. If I tell you there's a Christmas tree, some presents, and snow on the ground, you can infer that it's winter, right? Dramatic irony, so irony is the opposite of what's expected. Dramatic irony is the audience knows it, but they don't know it, so like somebody's dead, like Romeo and Juliet, so they kiss the lips, right, and get the poison on their mouth and then they die, but they don't know that the person's actually alive, right? Soliloquy, that is talking to yourself in a really long speech. So kind of what I'm doing right now, but if it was to a class, it'd be more of a monologue because I'm just talking all the time to you guys in a really long speech. Asides are, I'm whispering over here to my friend, but everybody can hear me because this is a play and not an actual side conversation, but it looks like a side conversation type of thing. Tragic flaw, so something that is the undoing of them, that kind of is what every bad thing is based off of. Main idea, so the thing that everything goes back to. Analogy, comparing one thing to another. So I draw an analogy between lots of different things. It's a good analogy. I'm as stoic as a stone, right? It's drawing that comparison to something else. Carpe diem theme. Carpe diem means seize the day. And then figurative language, simile, comparison using like or as. So I'm as hungry as a horse. Metaphor, talking about one thing as if it were another. Her eyes were diamonds. Her eyes are not actually diamonds. Personification. Giving human-like characteristics to non-human things. So the walls wept with sorrow as the family moved out. Know the difference between imagery and archetypal images. So imagery is just describing something using the 5 senses. Archetypal images are things that are appearing over and over again in literature or texts. How to use scansion marks correctly pertaining to Othello. Scansion is in one of those videos of that you've seen. I think it was Unit 3. Don't quote me. But there's help for scansion there. Paraphrasing and summarizing. Paraphrasing is putting things into your own words. It's typically longer than the original piece. Summarizing is making it shorter and more condensed, just talking about the main points. Vocab, rebuke, contemptuous, languish, contention, palpable, pernicious, obdurate, censure, cynical, mitigate. And now we're finally at performance task 1 and 2, and then you're going to be doing the alternative assessment or review in order to make up this assignment or unit. Performance task 1 is activity 19 of lesson 24, and then performance task 2 is lesson 25, activity 22. Again, if you have these super awesome packets, all of the performance tasks are way down here. So let's look at performance task 1 right here. So in performance task 1, you're going to use the graphic organizer from activity 18 to create a one-page typed essay relating Sonnet 18 by Shakespeare to the 3 essential questions for the semester. It has to be typed, 12-point font, Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, 1.5 line spacing, all of that fun stuff. You have to summarize the poem, discuss what the relationship is between poem and place. Does the poem change, reflect, or reflect society, or both? What's the relationship of poem to tradition, and then what do you like about the poem? If you filled out this and this correctly, you should be fine. So let's look at it. So who is the speaker? So the speaker is not the author usually, so it might not be William Shakespeare. What do we know about the speaker based off of the text of it? If you look on here, you can listen to Shall I Compare These to Summer's Day, as well as read it. It's up to you if you need that. If you don't, it's fine. Who is the audience? Who is he talking to? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thee usually means you. So he's probably talking to somebody he wants to woo, right? Like if I am trying to compare somebody to a summer's day, I probably will like them, unless you really hate summer. I mean, I really hate summer, but most people like summer, so I can't say that like that. What is poem about? What is it about? So what is it focused on? What's the tone or mood of the poem? Is it happy-go-lucky? Is it sad? Is it weird? Is it awkward? What is it? How does this poem appeal to the senses? So remember those 5 senses: seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, and touching. Use an example of a sound device. So rhyme, alliteration, consonants, assonance, onomatopoeia. I went over a few of those really quick. There's also more listed in the figurative language help in the miscellaneous section of this class. How is personification used? So personification, remember, giving human-like characteristics, non-human things. Repetition, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. Is that used? How? Are similes and metaphors used? He says, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? I'm assuming similes and metaphors will be used. Similes, comparison using like or as, metaphors without. What is unique about this poet's style? So Shakespeare has some very unique things. If you just do a quick search, you'll find out what those are. what is the purpose or lesson of this poem? So remember, lesson is lesson learned. What is he trying to get you to understand or learn by reading this? What is your favorite line or phrase in the poem? That's all you. Essential question 1, what is the relationship between the poem's setting and the poem? That's really important for this one because however summer looks for him might look different for somebody else. So setting will play a key role in this. Does this poem change or reflect society? If so, how? I'm asking this question because you should. So you should be able to answer that. And then what is the relationship to this poem to tradition? So try to answer that, and then you should have everything you need in order to write this one-page essay for Unit 5, Performance Task 1. Here are your checklist, so you want to go through. Did you clearly summarize the poem? Remember, treat me as if I know nothing. Write your poem, summarize it as if I don't know it at all and I've never read it in my whole life. Did you clearly explain the relationship between the poem and the place? Remember I told you summer is different everywhere. Did you give at least 3 examples of how the poem changes or reflects society? Did you give at least 3 examples of how the poem relates to tradition, right? 3. Examples should be quotes, right? You should have citations. Remember, so Shakespeare, and then you're reading it online, so no page number, parentheses, period. Did you revise your essay to make it more clear and precise? Did you edit it for grammar? Did you do the correct format? You should be able to answer yes to all of those things. You have to get at least 7 out of 10 in order for this to be passing. If you get 2 on each of them, you should be fine. So poem summarized effectively, essential question, themes addressed clearly and concisely, good examples of figurative language, impact of word choices shown effectively, writing developed and organized clearly so I could see that you followed that outline, strong analysis so you looked into it deeper than just pointing out what was actually said, and then purposeful steps to revise and edit the essay. That's all for Performance Task 1. Join me in the next video for Performance Task 2, which you're already familiar with a little bit from Unit 4.